Hello YouTube, welcome back to my playthrough of Men of Valor. I hope that you guys are enjoying this series. We're getting close to the end of the game, but anyways, we're going to be doing the Battle of Hue City here. And about Hue City, this happened during the Tet Offensive in 1968. Now, about Hue City is, Hue City, this is a city that is located within central Vietnam, and it was actually the city that was, where the monarchy was centered at in Vietnam's history. But about Hue City, early on in the battle, the North Vietnamese and the Viet Cong overran the US, and the North Vietnamese invaded, but the Viet Cong also attacked from inside the city itself. The US got overrun, and you're gonna see the MACV compound here. But about the MACV compound, I don't believe that the NVA and the Viet Cong actually breached the MACV compound. In Black Ops 1, you see them actually breaching the MACV compound, but I don't think they actually did get into it. But what basically happened is the North Vietnamese and the Viet Cong overran the city and took most of it. But within the next month, the US actually took it back. So a lot of street fighting, house-to-house fighting, and tanks were also used in this battle. Now, when you think of the Vietnam War, you don't typically think of a battle like this. You typically think of, like, a lot of jungle warfare, but this was a very urban, battle that had happened. And the really horrible thing about the Hue City, Battle of Hue City, is when the North Vietnamese realized they were going to lose the city and that the US was actually going to take the city back, what the North Vietnamese and the Viet Cong did was they marched a lot of people out of the city who they believed were pro-American, anti-communist, could possibly help the US, the South Vietnamese, and they massacred them. And this was known as the Hue City Massacre, and this is considered the massacre where the most amount of people died in a single massacre in the Vietnam War. Now, in this massacre, it was somewhere between 2,400 and 6,000 people died. They sent them to mass graves, they bludgeoned them to death. It was horrible. People got buried alive, and entire families were slaughtered, women and kids. So if you were like a South Vietnamese official, they would also kill your family and your children. It was really bad, but the thing about this is you almost never hear about this history. You don't hear about this. You don't hear about the mass graves that happened in Hue City. And the Hue City Massacre, this massacre is completely not talked about in Vietnam today. The Vietnamese education system, I've looked it up, they almost never talk about this. They never reference it. At most, what Vietnam will say is they'll say that mistakes happened during the Battle of Hue City, but they will not call it a massacre. They won't. And so the reason that you don't hear about stuff like this is because this goes against the narrative. The narrative that you typically hear is you hear that the, evil, US capitalist imperialist was violating Vietnam's sovereignty, and the North Vietnamese and the Viet Cong were heroic freedom fighters that were defending their country. But this is their own people. The communists killed their own people. So if you didn't support the communists, they killed you in Hue City. It was really horrible, and this is one of the reasons that so many people evacuated the helicopters in Saigon when Saigon fell in 1975, because they were terrified that this exact same thing was going to happen. But let's play the battles of Hue City now, and I guess we'll see if this is if the Hue City Massacre is brought up. But let's watch it here.
In late January 1968, the people of South Vietnam busily prepare for the traditional holiday of Tet, marking the Lunar New Year. Civilians decorate their shops and homes, and the military looks forward to a brief ceasefire, with many ARVN soldiers taking leave as the country celebrates.
That's the Army of the Republic of Vietnam, South Vietnamese.
For something different, however. North Vietnam chooses the ceasefire as the time to launch the General Uprising, a massive coordinated offensive targeting every major base and urban area.
So Tet is a massive holiday in Vietnam. The North Vietnamese attacked during this holiday.
While NVA troops infiltrate the south via the Ho Chi Minh Trail.
All true.
On January 31st, over 80,000 communist troops attack hamlets, districts, and cities across South Vietnam, including Saigon, and the previously untouched imperial capital of Hue. The traditional capital of Vietnam and a symbol of that country's rich cultural heritage, Hue is overrun by this Tet offensive. Viet Cong and NVA troops pour through the streets, arresting Catholics, scholars, and other enemies of the revolution who do not flee. By the 1st
These
of
peop-
February, the
these
entire
people were all
city,
massacred.
including the venerated Palace of Peace, is firmly in communist hands. Only the American MACV compound to the south of the Perfume River and the Arvin 1st Division headquarters to the north of the Citadel managed to hold out against the fierce NVA attacks.
Notice how they're using gas masks. There was a legitimate fear that the Viet Cong and the North Vietnamese were going to use chemical weapons.
Dear Mom and Dad, I got your letter and the Christmas cards just the other day. I'm glad to hear that everyone's doing well. I'm sorry that I missed another Christmas, but I'll be home soon. I can't wait to see you guys. Hue is a beautiful city with a lot to see. The people here have been very friendly and everything's been peaceful since I got here. We did a lot of hard fighting in Khe Sanh, and it's good to be back somewhere with a bed, sheets, and walls. I miss Jamie and the guys from 3rd Battalion, but the folks here at MACV have been very nice. The compound's on the south side of the city, on the grounds of an old hotel. If you walk past the walls, you're right in Hue. Barracks here are a lot more comfortable than the mud at Khe Sanh, at least. New Year's Eve was a lot of fun. Some of the Australian guys got a little out of control, though. There's a lot more partying coming up. The Tet holidays start tomorrow, and the entire country will be celebrating. I've never been in a city during Tet before, but some of the staff here say it gets very wild. You know I'll stay out of trouble, though. The reports say there's been some rocket attacks around Khe Sanh, but no major fighting, so Jamie should have a good Tet, too. Word here at MACV is that the Viet Cong are on the run, and things should be winding down soon. I hope they're right. Love, Dean.
Yeah, this is going to go really bad right now, so he has no idea that they're going to attack the city. That's an SKS in the top there.
Well, you
Soviet
punks
rifle.
been skating through the war and Hue. Grunts like Shepard and me have been busting our humps out in the bush. Ain't that right, Shep?
If you think crawling down in those tunnels around Coochie and getting your belly ripped open by a booby trap is skating, I think you may be crazy.
Shep was down in them tunnels, too. I would have gone down there, but I was up in Khe Sanh at the time.
You two shut up. You sound just like my parents. Hey, let me see that bottle. A little toast to Shepard over there. Short son of a bitch is gonna be leaving on a freedom bird in a week's time. Hey, congratulations, man. You earned it. Happy New Year.
Hey, I'm going home, too. All them ladies back in Fort Dodge better watch out, 'cause old Dan Schoenauer's on the prowl.
Shit, Hoss. You wouldn't know what to do with it if you got it.
Bite me, Chancellor.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year! Hi! Can you give me a drink?
Jesus, Tommy, I thought all the boom boom houses were closed.
This isn't a good idea, bringing a civilian onto the base. She could be Viet Cong.
Fiance, Fu Thong.
Fun!
Yeah, Wong. Yeah, right. Sorry, sweetie.
Just fireworks, silly!
I'll give you fireworks. Smooth, Tommy. Real smooth.
We gotta move, Shep. We gotta get to our bunkers across the base. Come on. We gotta move, Shep. We gotta get to our bunkers across the base. Come on.
Whoa. Obtain a weapon from an injured comrade. Okay, got something. This was during I believe that Tet is the biggest holiday in Vietnam, so this is during their biggest holiday that the North Vietnamese had launched this attack. The NBA are attacking the North Wall, hold position, okay.
heavy attack. NVA sappers have blown through the wire. We need immediate reinforcements. David, Shep, get to your bunker. I'll meet you across the base when I'm done here. Now go!
Holy shit!
I do like how we see Viet Cong forces with the NVA in this battle. That is pretty accurate.
Sure could use your help. Got a wave NVA moving in on the base. Come on, follow me.
Over the turret, okay. Oh, some allies there. Ah, okay. Taking ammo with the Australians in bunker 2, okay. Whoa, whoa!
It's about fucking time you got here.
No more room in here, mate. Go make yourself useful somewhere else.
So these are the Australian troops. So Australia sent, I believe, 80,000 troops to help in the Vietnam War. They were our biggest ally. I think that New Zealand sent around 10,000, close to 10,000. But yeah, Australia is one of the few countries that did help the U.S. during the Vietnam War. And as an American, I will say thank you to Australia for that. Australia was like a true American ally. Crap. Could probably turn on the music too. I had to turn off music earlier because copyright. There was music playing in this, but take out the rocket crews. Tanks coming in, okay. Damn smoke, I can't even... Okay, tanks, looks like... Tanks did it, okay.
Dear son, we've been watching the news and hearing about the attacks occurring all over Vietnam. They say the Hue has fallen to the communists and that there have been a lot of casualties. We've also heard that Khe Sanh may be surrounded by a large number of NVA troops. Your mother and I pray for your brother and your friends every day. Son, I hope this letter finds you well. I know you won't be able to write back for a while, and I have no idea when this letter might reach you. But I want you to know we're praying for you. The fellows on the news are calling this the greatest disaster in American military history. That sounds like a big exaggeration to me, but that's a small comfort when both your sons are in the thick of it. They say the attacks sprang up all across the country, and that it shows the people are really on the communist side. That doesn't sound much like what you've been writing to us, but it looks like the war is far from over. I know your tour is almost up, and your mom and I are just hoping you'll be okay for a few weeks more. Please write back as soon as you can, and tell us you are safe, and send news of Jamie if you get any. God bless. Dad.
Dean, I know you're supposed to be in Hue for a bit of R&R before you head back home, but as you can imagine, circumstances require every available man. We've secured the perimeter of the compound, but otherwise, Hue is in enemy hands. They've taken control of the Citadel, and only us and the Arvin Division headquarters up north are holding out. We've got additional men coming up from Phu Bai, and the 101st is holding off any NVA reinforcements. But as usual, it's up to the Marines to move the heavy load. Captain Van Bao has asked the 5th to clear out New City and secure the south bank of the Perfume. I'm including you in the operation orders for tomorrow's action. The attacks cost us a lot of leaders, and we need you to fill in. Captain Dandridge is taking his men out to clear the hostiles from the residential and commercial districts south of the Perfume River. I want you and Dan Schunauer to join him. It's going to be house-to-house fighting, and it will be ugly. Guaranteed.
So, notice how the letter gets, like, quiet there. It's kind of like Dean basically just stopped reading the letter there at that point. That's what that means there. So he was supposed to be relaxing in Hue, gonna be leaving in a week, and now this happens.
All right, we gotta push on to the admin complex. The NVA have taken it over, and we gotta take it back.
Okay, a lot of house-to-house fighting and tanks also in this battle, too. What's the objective? Make your way to the administration building. Okay. Protect your armor by eliminating a rocket group. Okay. There we go, tanks advancing. Okay, perfect.
Let's clear the street.
That is North Vietnam's flag right there. Okay, there we go. Street's clear now.
Come on, Grunts. Let's get to that building.
Crap, there's a crap ton of them here.
We're gonna run up the American flag. We've been staring at that NLF flag for the last 4 days, and now we're taking that sumbitch down. You Grunts suppress those guns by the building entrance. Give me cover. All right, men. Let's put these
Yes,
sumbitches on
okay.
the
Beautiful
box.
sight.
Follow me, devil dogs. Hoorah!
Oh no. Tanks busted. Entered administration building. Oof, got a bad feeling about this.
Let's clear the lower floor. Don't leave a room unchecked.
Get some cover!
Damn.
Get your asses down!
got 3 more of these. Okay, gonna make these count. Ah, damn. Ooh. This mission's tough.
Dear Mr. and Mrs. Roland Shepard.
And they're everywhere. Whoa, whoa.
Nothing. Yeah! Come on, put out rounds!
The church is just up the street. The NVA are really dug in, so watch your ass. Keep your eyes open for rocket crews.
The church, okay. MG. That is the Viet Cong flag right there. The blue and the red with the gold star. Hope that finally got him. Okay. Suppressed a rocket cruise in the church tower.
Let's get into that church. We gotta suppress those rocket crews so they can get in close. Fire on that tower. Let them have it. All right, now. Let's put these son of bitches in the hurt. So it can go to work.
There it is, okay. Blow him up, blow him up. Was it gone?
Business, Marines. Let's take that church.
Okay, good. I really needed that.
Choke on that, you pukes!
Oh my god, yeah. This is the Hue City Massacre. This is exactly what I was talking about here.
It's a massacre!
It's a mass grave. We've been getting intel about this. These bastards came into this city with hit lists. They've been rounding up civilians and executing them.
Dear Mom and Dad, I'm writing to let you know I'm fine. The attacks were unexpected and I lost a lot of new friends, but we're all Marines and we pulled together. We held on to the compound where I've been staying, and yesterday we managed to clear out the enemy from the south part of the city. The way it used to be beautiful, but not now. Almost every wall still standing has holes in it, and fires are taking apart whole neighborhoods. It would have been worse except for the rain. Since I came to Nam, I've seen a lot of dead bodies, but fighting in a city is something else. A lot of the people that we haven't found dead have just disappeared. I'm hoping they ran off when the fighting started, but the rumor is that the North Vietnamese rounded up large groups of citizens they deemed undesirable and marched them out of the city. We found a grave outside a church the other day, with about 50 bodies dumped in it. The Viet Cong and North Vietnamese really hate Catholics.
That's true.
I know the news you guys are hearing isn't very good, but remember, you are only getting one side. The countryside hasn't risen up against us, and the South Vietnamese troops are fighting just as hard as we are to keep the country free. If the newsmen saw what I did, they'd be singing a different tune. Remember, I'll be home safe in a short time. I hear Jamie and the guys at Quezon are holding out fine, but I'm sure he hasn't had an opportunity to write since this all started. I'll write again when I find out more. Love, Dean.
So, yeah, this goes completely against the narrative that the civilians in South Vietnam welcomed the North Vietnamese into the country. And what Shepard is saying here is, when he's saying that I wish the newsman would cover it like this, the reporters had a clear anti-US bias in the Vietnam War. The reporting in the Vietnam War was not very fair. I'm not saying that the US should be portrayed as, this heroic, good guys all the time, but you have to cover everything fairly. And the way that the reporters were constantly covering it is they were covering it that the U.S. was this evil imperialist and the North Vietnamese were just, freedom fighters fighting for their country. These were their own people that they killed in Hue City. And about Catholics, the reason that they targeted Catholics is because the communists hated all religions. But the North Vietnamese, the reason that the North Vietnamese really hated Catholics is because, again, as part of the communist ideology, the communists hated all organized religion. Karl Marx said himself that religion is the opium of the masses. That's the quote that Karl Marx said about religion. So communists historically have just hated religions. But the second thing is that the Catholicism largely came to Vietnam through France. And the French colonized Vietnam. And if somebody was practicing Catholicism, the North Vietnamese basically said you were practicing a colonizer religion. And they heavily discriminated against Catholics. They really hated Catholics. And you had stuff like this. You had priests that were, executed. Priests and their, followers in the church were all massacred. You had people, like I said earlier, and then the letter confirmed it too. People were marched out of the city. They were bludgeoned to death. They were buried alive in these mass graves. It was horrible. Between 2,400 to 6,000 people were murdered in Hue City. And to this day, the North Vietnamese, or Vietnamese government, I should say today, really does not acknowledge it. They do not teach about this. They do not talk about this at all. Okay, guys, so I guess we will wrap it up here. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, do drop a like. And I will see you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, guys.